Hello everyone, SM Collectibles here, and for the video today I'm going to briefly be going over Bandai's new restricted or banned list for the One Piece card game. So this was announced today on the 21st of July, and Bandai have decided to restrict these three cards. So none of them are banned, but they've all been limited to only one copy per deck as opposed to the usual four. And this is going to be coming into play on the 28th of July. So it's a week from now, so it's not coming into play straight away. I know I have an online regionals tomorrow, so it won't be in play for that. But there is another tournament on the 29th, I believe that's a regionals, and this will be in play for that. So Bandai have said this is only for the English release. This isn't for Japanese, and it won't affect the kind of Asian side of the card game. Now let's go over why they've done this. So first off, they've banned the Edward Newgate. I think anyone knows who plays the card game, this card comes up a lot. Whitebeard as a leader comes up a lot, and this banned list is mainly, or restricted list, has mainly acted to kind of hinder and kind of nerf Whitebeard as a leader because he's been doing so well in tournaments, and he's just been good since he came out. So this has been restricted because I believe they've chosen these three because it focuses a lot on the end game. So, for example, the Marco, it's the blocker, which is pretty overpowered because it can just come back on KO, so you can trash a card, including Whitebeard Pirates, from your hand. If you have 2 or less life cards, you can play this rested from the trash. So basically, you can block with it, 2 or less life cards, discard one from your hand. There you go, he's come back in play, and it's a 5k blocker, so he can attack as well with fairly decent prowess near the end of a turn if he needs to. And I think that they've mainly focused this on kind of the end game, which is what Whitebeard, he aims to get to. Obviously, the leader loses a life each turn, but once you get to the kind of final stages, you can drop this. Then you gain extra power, and you stop taking away the life. So basically, you've kind of turned him into a normal leader, but he's still got the 6k power. So this is very much focused on the end game, as I say, because this is 9 cost. So you're only going to be playing this in a few turns in when you've got enough Dom to. And this is also only if you have 2 or less life cards in hand. And also there is the Frankie Radical Beam, which is if you have 2 or less life cards in hand, you get the additional 2k power. So basically, they restricted these because Whitebeard was too strong. He could use the Ezo to search these, he could get them up, and the combo was coming up too regularly and it was winning too much. It was too good that Bandai decided to restrict it. Now, what do I think about that? I think it's a good decision. I think it's a very good decision, especially these two. I think these two needed to be limited or have some kind of restriction in some way because they're just so good. In terms of the Radical Beam, I can understand why they've done it, but I don't necessarily think it was that needed. I don't think it's that kind of overpowered. There's still kind of guard point as well, which gives a similar boost. I don't really know how much it was needed, but it's what they've decided to do. I think, personally, they should have put a restriction on Ezo, because that's the kind of the main issue that allows you to search for these. And also, Red has too many searches, I think. It's got the Buggy, it's got Ezo, it's got Nami, it's got the Dadan to find any 1-cost cards. I think it's got too many searches, and that's the main issue. But this is going to severely affect people who play Whitebeard, and I'm interested to see. It's interesting to see how the meta will change, how Whitebeard play will kind of go down, or what will happen, what new decks will come up. Maybe black, maybe yellow decks will become a lot more prominent because I know they're very popular and they're becoming more popular. But I also think this won't really hinder Zoro. I think, to be honest, more people will play Zoro who maybe played Whitebeard before, and they'll come on and start playing Zoro, which is an issue because Zoro's really good as well, and it's still a red issue. They needed to sort this out. They needed to sort out the red issue in the card game. If anyone says there wasn't a red issue, then they're probably going to be a red player. But there was a red issue, and this has helped kind of mitigate it a little bit, but it's only really hindered Whitebeard, and I think they could have done more to hinder Zoro. For example, getting rid of the Ezo, or banning the Ezo, or limiting the Ezo, and the Dadan, and maybe some other ones. But this has affected Whitebeard, And I know that certain people, I know a few people, friends of mine who play Whitebeard, who will stop playing Whitebeard now. And just to go over the key points again, so ban list, a restriction list, released today, comes into play a week from now on the 28th of July. All of these three limited to one card. They're not banned, they're restricted, and it's only these three. There's nothing else they've released so far. And they said they might remove this for OPO4, so we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how the tide goes. I think that I've heard this, I've spoken about it with friends, that I think yellow will see a lot more play, and I think eventually the 10 cost Big Mum will get restriction because that's a very good card, and seeing it more, it's not really had that time like Whitebeard has to kind of top a load of competitions, but I think that will be the next one to be kind of restricted or limited in the future. But we'll have to see. I'm interested to hear people's thoughts and opinions about this. If you play red, if you play Whitebeard, how do you feel about this? If you play another colour, how do you feel about this? And do you think there's any other cards they should have banned or restricted? Or how do you feel that it was these three? But that was a fairly brief video. I do play the One Piece card game. I've not really done many videos on it, but I plan to do more in the future. I don't play red, I play blue, surprisingly. But I thought I'd just cover this one quickly because it's interesting to talk about the ban list. And I'd like to cover more One Piece news about the cards, about playing, about sets in the future. So if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe for more content about One Piece and card games. And as I say, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching.